This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Hello everybody, welcome to Mike's Mic. My name is Mike. Quick PSA on the naming scheme. So it's Mike's Mic as in Mike's microphone. And sometimes people come up to me and they're like, are you Mike's mic? And I'm like, who's that? If you peruse my YouTube channel, you might see that there's been a bit of time since my last upload. And that's because I've been working on my Gossip Girl and Lost videos. I'm still about a week or two from starting to roll those videos out, so I thought I would come on here and surprise my constituents with a different video. Today we're talking about the breathtakingly spectacular movie, Scooby-Doo 2002.
This is a potential mother.
I got my Velma wig on tonight. To be honest, I kind of look more like if Stephanie from Lazy Town went through some tough times. Now the cast for this movie is absolutely stacked. We've got Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard, Linda Cardellini, Isla Fisher, and Rowan Atkinson. In my last video, I famously said that Scream was Scooby-Doo for adults, and inversely, Scooby-Doo is Scream for kids. It just makes sense. You could probably make a mathematical equation that explains the relationship between the two, where one of the constants is Matthew Lillard because he played Stu in Scream and Shaggy in Scooby-Doo. Apparently the original casting of Shaggy was Jim Carrey, and then they considered Mike Myers before they ended up casting Matthew Lillard. And also Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Isla Fisher all went for Daphne, and the role ended up going to Sarah Michelle Gellar. And then Isla Fisher ended up in the movie cast in a different role as Mary Jane. Now this movie was actually shot in Australia at Warner Brothers Movie World in Queensland. Like, this movie's linked to me in ways that it's not linked to you non-Australians. Like, I know you're all mad and jealous. It was written by James Gunn, who you might know from Guardians of the Galaxy. And much like me, Mr. Gunn has been running his mouth on Twitter, which is great for us, because we get some Scooby-Doo insights. Someone replied to a tweet of his asking to make everyone's live-action lesbian Velma dreams come true, and he said, I tried. In 2001, Velma was explicitly gay in my initial script, but the studio just kept watering it down, becoming ambiguous, the version shot, then nothing, the released version, and finally having a boyfriend. Yes, Velma! The difference in versions is very interesting, and I would very much like to see the original. He's tweeted more about the version change previously, saying that the movie was originally meant to be PG-13 and was cut down to PG after like 3 parents were outraged at a test screening in Sacramento. Those 3 parents, when I see you, Daphne, hold my earrings. Language and jokes and sexual situations were removed, including a kiss between Daphne and Velma. Yes, Velma and Daphne. We do actually know at what part in the movie this was supposed to happen because Sarah Michelle Gellar talked about it in an interview, but I'll point it out when we get to it because I don't want to spoil the plot. Like, this is serious. And then there's even more to it. In 2012, Matthew Lillard did an AMA and someone asked about what got taken out of the original, and he said, it was after the heat of Shrek and the studio was all for an above the kid's head line of comedy. They brought in James Gunn and he delivered that version of the script. Yes to all the things you think it is. Smoky van, because Shaggy was originally a stoner. Velma eyeballing Daphne. Fred being gay because of the ascot. And apparently Freddie Prinze Jr. portrayed him as such throughout the film. Yes, Fred! So as we go through the plot, keep all of that in mind. The synopsis of the movie is, after a bitter breakup and staying apart for 2 years, Fred, Daphne, Velma, Shaggy, and their dog Scooby-Doo reunite to investigate strange occurrences at a resort on Spooky Island. Spooky Island, you say? You know what else is spooky? Using the internet without a VPN. This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Surfshark is a virtual private network available as a browser extension and an app that allows you to browse safely online and also access more content from all around the world. My family has Scooby-Doo 2002 on DVD because we have taste, but the disc is back in Perth, so I watched it on Netflix. If you wanted to watch Scooby-Doo and it wasn't available on Netflix in your country, you could use Surfshark to change your location to Australia, and voila, Scooby-Doo. I also mentioned that Surfshark protects you when you're browsing online, whether that be through adding another layer of protection when using a public Wi-Fi network or preventing companies and bots from tracking your activity. They've also got features like a cookie pop-up blocker and an IP rotator, which changes your IP address without disconnecting from the VPN. Also, with just one account, you can use Surfshark on an unlimited amount of devices. Use my code MIKESMIC, M-I-K-E-S-M-I-C, to get 85% off and 3 extra months for free. There's a 30-day trial, so you can give it a go risk-free, so make sure you head to that link in the description to check out that deal, and make sure you use my code MIKESMIC. Thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. Late night on a Tuesday. bougie restaurant. I'm so good at those segues. Like, we open at the Wow-O toy factory. This scary-ass ghost clown has Sister Daphne in despair by holding her by the waist and flying around. Velma's all like, Jinkies, Fred, Daphne's been captured again. But fear not. The squad has a plan. However, this is Mystery Inc. and nothing ever really goes to plan for them. Like Ghostina Aguilera sees Scooby hiding in a barrel and lights his tail on fire. Rude. So Shaggy and Scooby are stuck in this barrel and basically running a gauntlet like Crash Bandicoot in this toy factory. Now, I do love how violent this toy factory is. Like, why does this conveyor belt for toys have sharp rotating blades? Toys go through a lot to get made, and some of you forget that.
I wish today it would rain all day. Maybe that'll kind of make the pain go away. Trying to forgive you for abandoning.
Now, in true Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. style, in the middle of failing miserably, the squad manages to trap the lunar ghost. Then their squad van, the Mystery Machine, crashes through the factory door, followed by police and paparazzi and fans. The driver of the van gets out. It's Pamela Anderson, like name brand Pamela Anderson. Just a little director's footnote, I've started saying that a celebrity cameo is name brand if they're playing themselves. Pam thanks Fred for saving the factory because apparently that's where she's been manufacturing quality, ecologically friendly action figures. Okay, work. Fans and paparazzi are all over Fred, like, how did you do it all, Fred? And Miss Velma, she's not having a bar of it, because it was her plan. They pulled the ghost mask off to reveal Old Man Smithers, the creepy janitor who got rejected by Pam. And I would've got away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids and your dumb dog. Why did I give that like snooky flavor? And I would've got away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids and your dumb dog. Now, rather tragically, much like a sheen dress, Mystery Inc. is falling apart at the seams. Velma quits because she doesn't like Fred taking credit for all of her plans. Daphne quits because Velma quits and she said that she was actually going to quit first, but then Velma did it, so now it looks like she's copying. And Fred also quits. All this makes Scooby-Doo really sad, and that really pissed me off. Fuck y'all. You made Scooby-Doo cry. Scooby-Doo is so Ice Spice right now. You did me dirt. Because what did I do? Like, let's quickly go over the squad's visuals. Fred has this questionable hairstyle and a sleigh ascot. Velma is orange jumper glasses bob girl. Daphne is 60s purple dress green headband go-go boots queen. Shaggy is scruffy looking green shirt chill guy. And Scooby's just like slaying. He's never not slaying. By the way, this casting is just all so perfect. Like, Matthew Lillard is just such a good Shaggy. Like, from the facial expressions to the voice, it's perfect. I actually think that after this movie, he ended up being the Shaggy voice actor for a lot, if not all, of Shaggy's TV appearances and video games and all that kind of stuff. Boom. 2-year time jump. Scooby and Shaggy are in the Mystery Machine at the beach and there's smoke coming out of the roof, almost like they're hotboxing the Mystery Machine. Oh, no, they're actually just making burgers. Get your minds out of the gah. I'm looking for a Mr. Rogers and a Mr. Do. It's a guy who works for Emil Mondavarius with an invite to Mr. Mondavarius' world famous amusement park Spooky Island, and he wants them to come to solve a mystery. Shaggy's like, no, we don't go anywhere with spooky, haunted, forbidden, creepy, or hydrocolonic in the name. For $10,000 question mark? No. Free accommodation? No. All you can eat? Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. The wheels on the bus. It's a Venn diagram. I love a Venn diagram.
It's just something about those 3 circles.
At the airport to Spooky Island, Velma runs into Fred and then they both run into Daphne.
This is a potential mother.
Fred has been touring with his book, Fred on Fred. Velma has been working at NASA and Daphne has become a black belt. Shaggy and Scooby turn up and Scooby's dressed as an old lady because they don't allow big dogs on the plane. Like, this is iconic. This is pop culture history. Like, someone that I follow on Twitter uses the picture of Scooby on the plane in like reaction memes. I do have questions about how observant like the NPCs are in the Scooby-Doo universe. Like, do they really not see that that is a dog dressed up as an old lady? And then separate question, are they not bothered that that dog can talk? We will follow up these questions later because I have several of them. Flight 3774 to Spooky Island boards and then crashes in the Atlantic, and that is how the hit thriller mystery drama show Lost starts. Now, on the plane, Shaggy meets a love interest, this blonde girlie named Mary Jane, who's played by icon Isla Fisher. She's sneezing because of Scooby, so Shaggy makes Scooby go visit Velma at the back of the plane. The tail section, if you will. Then the plane breaks in half and the front section crashes on the beach, and that is how the hit drama thriller mystery show Lost starts. Also, on the plane, Scooby punches Fred while dressed as the old lady, and there's just no repercussions for that. Not that I think that there should be repercussions. If anything, Scooby should be rewarded for that. Mary Jane is eating dog biscuits, namely Scooby Snacks, which is cute and convenient because Shaggy also loves eating Scooby snacks. Like, they are made for each other. Next time I open Facebook, I'm going to see Shaggy and Mary Jane engaged, because every single time I open that app, there's a fresh engagement. Congratulations! The gang arrives at Spooky Island and they meet Mr. Mondavarius, who isn't very spooky at all. He thinks that someone is casting a spell on the college students that come to holiday at Spooky Island, because when they leave, they don't want to post up. They're all stone-faced and super strong and just plain villainous, babe. Mystery Inc. are all like, I'm gonna solve this first. No, I'm gonna solve this first. No, I am gonna solve this first. They have beef. And it's very upsetting. Velma watches a speech from this guy called Nagu Tauna, who says that the theme park is built on enchanted ground and that the spirits are angry. And there's also this wrestling henchman guy. Someone calls the bar looking for a Mr. Do. Melvin Do? No, not Melvin Do. And on the call, they tell Scooby that they have hamburgers for him if he walks into the dark, shadowy part of the forest where no one can see him. So he does that. This is just a simple if-then statement. If hamburger, then Scooby. Much like Cardi B hypothesized. If it's burger, then it's burger, then it's burger, then it's Scooby. So Scooby goes into the forest to look for hamburgers and gets chased by this demon creature thing. Miss Mary Jane is rocking this red Nokia vibe and Shaggy beats the claw machine for her, which, wow, that's just so lovely. Like, that's lovely. Scooby runs out of the forest and he's like, monster! And Shaggy doesn't believe him. Can you believe that shit? There's no monster there. So Shaggy's like, Scooby babe, like, you're literally lying. There's no monster. There is a man in a bunny suit, like, but did you think he was the monster? Like, that's kind of embarrassing. Daphne walks in on a guy sacrificing a dead chicken, which is kind of Azalea Banks coded, no further comments. She's on her detective grind and she's asking him some questions. And he says, here's a clue, purple is a fall color. It's the middle of May. He kind of got her with that. Like, the library was open. Go home before evil befalls your little skinny aerobicized booty. So you think I'm scared? He's also like, don't go into the spooky castle over there. Daphne's like, maybe you're saying that because by saying not to go, you know I want to go. Or maybe you're saying not to go so that I want to go, and then remember you don't want me to go, which is what you want because you don't want me to go and see what you've got inside. Christopher Nolan wishes. Like, dream within a dream, please. This is the sleigh within a sleigh. Daphne grabs Shaggy and Scooby and she's like, we're going the fuck into that scary castle. And Scooby's like, absolutely right. But Daphne convinces him with some Scooby snacks, which is very real. Because if you offered me tortinas, I would basically do anything. So they're in the castle. Daphne says the only thing missing is a mindless zombie. And then Fred walks in. It's the subtle read of it all, you know? Velma has also been following clues, so she's there too. The gang splits up to look for clues, and then shit hits the fan. Fred and Velma are in a Crash Bandicoot gauntlet. Daphne's stuck on a roller coaster. And Shaggy and Scooby are being attacked by evil food. It's very bad and scary for them right now. Pause up. Fred and Velma discover a brainwashing school of sorts. Daphne finds a creepy room with a pyramid on a stand, and Shaggy and Scooby find this like weird kitchen set. Daphne touches the pyramid and activates a trap which she narrowly escapes. She runs into Shaggy and Scooby, who are having a burping and farting competition. Yes! Bad guys, including the wrestling henchman guy, infiltrate the castle to look for the gang, but they have 3,000 IQs. Like, you don't get it. Fred, Velma, Daphne, Scooby, and Shaggy, they have 3,000 IQs and they're hiding in plain sight. Like, no one would expect that. You think you're so smart. You really do. Like, you think you're so smart. And yet, would you hide in plain sight? I don't think you would. Like, you wouldn't. Now, interestingly, the wrestling guy says that the gang have found the Damon-ritis, whatever that is. So the gang finds Mr. Mondavarius and they say to him, we have 3 suspects. Nagu Tauna, the voodoo chicken sacrifice man, and you. Also, this was so me during my primary school cults and unsolved mysteries era. Velma investigates the spooky device, the Damon-ritis, at the bar, and I would just like to put it on the record that is very much me. That is something that I would do. I go out for dinner by myself all the time, because I have like 3 friends in Melbourne and they're always busy. So I'll be sat up at that restaurant bar just doing anything. Read a book, do some script work, read some emails, investigate a spooky device, like you name it, I'll do it. Nagu Tauna comes into the Spooky Island restaurant bar thing where they're sitting and he starts playing jazz piano. Okay, Lady Gaga Vegas residency. I get a kick out of you. Stream love for sale, cheek to cheek. Like, if you have taste, you get it. This random guy sits next to Velma and first of all, boo, who are you? Leave. The two of them are just chatting shit. Velma says that she thinks the inscriptions on the device are referring to an ancient race of creatures and that they're instructions to some sort of secret ritual. Then the bartender gives her a free drink and says, on the house. Suspicious, getting a free drink in this economy. While drinking this suspicious drink, Velma's like getting all tipsy and she's having flashbacks. She's having these flashbacks to how much she enjoyed being a part of Mystery Inc. But then she says, but every family has one nut, and she's talking about Scrappy-Doo. Now, Scrappy-Doo... There's a clip of Scrappy-Doo just like pissing on Daphne.
What?
Now, at this point, I'm truly like, wait, why are Scooby and Scrappy talking and no one is extremely shocked by that? And why aren't there more talking animals in the Scooby-Doo-niverse? And why can Scrappy-Doo speak like perfect English, but Scooby is like Ruby Ruby Roo? I did some Googling on the matter, and some people on Reddit thought that Scooby could talk because he was trained up to be a super intelligent Soviet space dog, but this was debunked. According to the Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated series from 2010, everyone keep up, Scooby and Scrappy can talk at all because they're descendants of an alien race that didn't have a physical form, so made themselves look like animals. Got that? As for why Scrappy talks perfectly and Scooby doesn't, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Some people on the internet are saying that it's because Scrappy was born with a more advanced larynx than Scooby thanks to evolution. But then the other schools of thought propose that Scooby merely has a speech impediment because Scooby's cousin, Scooby-Dumb, speaks in full sentences without the Ruby Ruby Roo like Scooby does, so he talks like Scrappy. Anyway, in flashbacks, we see that Scrappy-Doo is like a little egomaniac, and he tells the gang, Fred sucks. You have to appoint me unquestioned team leader or kick me out. The gang's on their improv shit, and they're like, yes and they kick him out of the group. Back at the Spooky Island bar, Velma's telling that random guy that Scrappy wasn't even a puppy and he had some gland disorder. Okay. Scrappy's gland disorder is like, no, Daphne and Fred enter the bar and Scooby looks out the window and sees one of the monsters and flips out. And Fred gets mad at him because they live in reality. There's no such thing as ghouls, ghosts, goblins, or monsters. Rude. Why are you so mean to Scooby? Like, you did him dirt. Because what did he do? Like, now pause. There's actually a deleted scene of Daphne and Fred walking down the stairs into the bar, and drunk Velma gets all flustered looking at them, and it's kind of like, ooh, which one of the two is she crushing on? So Fred's like, Scooby, snap out of it, you're embarrassing me. There's no such thing as monsters. And then boom, a monster breaks through the glass, grabs Fred, breathes stank breath on him, and Fred passes out. Should've listened to Scooby. Now Velma has lost her glasses again, and girl, if you don't get some goddamn contacts, she thinks the monster is just another mask, and she goes to pull the mask off, and she's like, hold on, this isn't coming off. And then she gets stank breathed. This right here is a visual representation of what riding the Route 12 tram is like. It's a Melbourne joke, like some of you wouldn't get it, like you wouldn't understand it. Scooby tries to escape in a suitcase, and when he's caught, he distracts the monster with a manicure. Like that's Mensa. Like, that is Mensa. So Daphne, Shaggy, Scooby, and Mary Jane eventually get away, and Daphne even managed to swipe the Damon Riders from Nagu to Una before he steals it. The monsters have taken a bunch of people away, including Fred and Velma. Where did they take them? Nobody knows. Maybe give them a call. Calling all the monsters? Daphne's on entrepreneurial boss babe mode. She's got a stall up at the market for her small business. And she says to Shaggy, you know, it's our turn to save Fred and Velma because they're usually saving us. Mary Jane calls the Coast Guard and says that they're on Spooky Island and need help finding their kidnapped friends. And the Coast Guard's like, yep, cool, we come and help you. We'll meet you at the pier. But wait, the Coast Guard's not going to help them because they're evil. Dun, dun, dun. They wake up on the beach, Coast Guard nowhere to be seen. Also, damage from the previous night nowhere to be seen. All the broken glass and smashed furniture and everything, it's all been cleaned up. Everything's back to normal. It's getting weird. There's a band playing at the resort pool and Daphne's all like, ooh, hello, sir, to the singer, and then he pulls his glasses off and he's got green glowing eyes. Ruh-roh. Shaggy finds Fred, but it's not the Fred they know and love. It's like Chad Fred, whose eyes turn green. He's been possessed, babe. It's a PR disaster. Leslie's on the line. The muscle henchman guy takes the Damon Riders from Daphne. Shaggy and Scooby are on bikes being chased, and Shaggy rescues Mary Jane, but Scooby sees that Mary Jane has actually been possessed. Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh. Rary Rain is a ran in a rask. But alas, Shaggy doth not believe his best friend Scoob because he's whipped. Like, he's so whipped. He's whipped cream up in here. Like, it's bad. It gets violent. Shaggy and Scooby tussle, and then Scooby falls through a trapdoor. Shaggy dives down into the trapdoor looking for him and finds like a ritual site of sorts. There's like this pool of protoplasms, and he can see Velma's protoplasm in there, so he pulls it out so that she can go repossess her body. It's kind of like when you borrow money on a loan. The loan is secured against an asset, and then if you fail to make the repayments, the lender can repossess the asset. I love finance. Ugh, like, money's just so easy. Why am I not the treasurer? I'm the new treasurer now. I'm the treasurer. When Velma's protoplasm goes back into her body, she kicks out the demon that possessed her, and the demon like phases into physical form and burns up in the sunlight. Turns out the creatures need to wear human bodies like a suit to survive in the sunlight. Shaggy pulls Fred and Daphne's protoplasms out of the pool thing, and they go flying around the island trying to find their bodies, but they can't get to their bodies, and they accidentally go into each other's bodies. Shaggy steals the demon Riders and meets up with Velma and switched Fred and Daphne, and all their unstable protoplasms keep mixing because they're in close proximity to the demon Riders, and this keeps happening until they all get back to normal. Now this is where the deleted Velma Daphne kiss comes in. Sarah Michelle Gellar said in an interview, initially in the soul swapping scene, Velma and Daphne couldn't seem to get their souls back together in the woods, and so the way they found was to kiss, and the souls went back into proper alignment. The gang miners Scooby run into Chicken Sacrifice Guy, who says that the bad guys are going to do their Dark Apocalypse ritual tonight, and if they succeed, the creatures will rule the earth for 10,000 years. Velma's like, jinkies. The text on the pyramid mentioned a Dark Apocalypse ritual that uses the vat of protoplasm as an energy source, and the leader must absorb a purely good soul to complete the ritual. And this is where things get really hectic. Because the pure soul is Scooby-Doo. Like, no. Save Scooby. Rackreverse? Like, he doesn't deserve that. This is so fucked up. Turns out the big bad is whoever brought Scooby to the island because they knew they needed a pure soul, and they knew that Scooby was a pure soul. So the person who brought Scooby to the island was Emil Mondavarius, and he's the big bad. He's got Scooby in his office and he's all like, we love you, Scooby. Like, here's a picture of Scooby. Side note, this is so me when I finally take one good photo and blast it absolutely everywhere across all socials and dating apps and print it off to send to all my former classmates and colleagues. The power of one good photo cannot be understated, especially when you're prone to not taking good photos. Like, lightning does not strike twice. You have to take advantage of a serve when it happens. Anyway, Emil is running his mouth saying how he loves Scooby and how Shaggy is a fake bitch for not believing Scooby about Mary Jane. He tells Scooby that he has a very important job for him, to be a sacrifice. A rackreverse? Like, stop. I love Scooby-Doo. Now, the LGBTQ plus crew get to work on a plan to save Scooby during the ritual, which in true Mystery Inc. fashion absolutely goes to shit immediately. Meanwhile, Scooby doesn't know that being a sacrifice is a bad thing. So he's like, yes, I'm a rackreverse. Shaggy manages to disguise himself as one of the bad guys, and he has a heart-to-heart to Scooby. And tell me why this is more emotional than any of the shit coming out of Hollywood right now.
Hey, who's my best buddy in the whole wide world?
Ruby-Doo.
They want to replicate what Shaggy and Scooby have so bad, and yet they can't. Because you can't outdo the doer. So Shaggy and Scooby are about to make a run for it, thank God. But then Scooby's protoplasm gets snatched, and Mondavarius starts absorbing all the protoplasms via the Damon Riders. Shaggy's like, I've fucking had enough. You can get fucked. That's my best friend. Give him back. And he stops the ritual. Scooby's protoplasm goes back into his body, thank God. And then Fred and Velma discover that Mondavarius is actually a robot.
What?
Everyone, including Naguto Una, is like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck kind of bug is that?
What the fuck kind of bug is that?
Oh, bitch, an eyelash bug.
Turns out the person operating the extremely realistic Mondavarius robot is motherfucking Scrappy-Doo. The little bitch. Fuck Scrappy. What Scrappy-Doo needs to do is get a job, find some employment. Is Scrappy-Doo a nepotism baby? Let me know in the comments. Like, he's only famous because of his uncle Scoobit. Scrappy was on record saying that he was never one of those girls that would do 30 shows a season or whatever the fuck those girls do. Scrappy-Doo, more like Floppy-Doo. Fuck Scrappy-Doo. This little bitch, he tried to sacrifice his uncle who has a speech impediment. His uncle who's a pure soul. He's like, let me sacrifice my uncle real quick. Fuck Scrappy-Doo. How did Scrappy-Doo even make this mega realistic Mondavarius robot suit? He doesn't even have opposable thumbs. Now, unfortunately, Scrappy-Doo has absorbed enough energy to become this ugly rat, and all he needs to have absolute power is Scooby-Doo. And poor soul Melvin Doo's there too. He's being dragged through the mud because of his last name. He's like, I don't know you doos. You doos need to leave us doos alone. While all this is happening, Daphne has been trying to escape through the tunnels and is trying to open the air vent so that the sunlight burns Scrappy. Scrappy's chasing Shaggy and Scooby, who run into the possessed super strong Mary Jane. The wrestling henchman guy tries to take down Daphne, but he simply does not know who he's dealing with. She knocks him down the air vent and he knocks over the pool of protoplasms, and then all the demons come out of the bodies and they all get burned in the sunlight. Now, I don't know why they had to wait until the ritual to tip the pot of protoplasms over. Like, why set up the elaborate plan if you could just tip it over and the protoplasms fly around the island like we saw them do with Velma, Fred, and Daphne, and they could go back into all their bodies in the sunlight and the demons would all get burnt. Anyway, the gang pulls the Damon Riders off Scrappy-Doo and they defeat him. Fred and Daphne kiss, declined. The real Emil Mondavarius climbs out of a hole and tells Shaggy that he was captured by Scrappy. That random guy hugs Velma, declined. Mary Jane says thank you to Scooby for saving her, and the two of them plus Shaggy, they all have a group hug, and that's accepted. Scrappy-Doo gets arrested. Tick, accepted. He better get maximum time. I'm so sick of him. If it was up to me, I fear he wouldn't make it to the prison. And that's that on Scooby-Doo 2002. So although serial felon Scrappy created that ultra-realistic Mondavarius robot thing, so some of it can be explained by science and logic and reasoning, there was actually a supernatural element to this with the Damon Riders, the creatures, like the monsters, and then the protoplasms. And there's just no follow-up on that. Like, that's explosive. Like earlier on, Fred makes a point of saying to Scooby that there's no such thing as goblins, ghouls, ghosts, or monsters. And then at the start, when they had that guy in the suit, which explains how the ghost was like operating and flying around. But this time it was genuinely supernatural, and they're all just like, okay, well, like whatever. Also, I Googled Scooby-Doo Supernatural to see what people were saying about this, and what I found was a Scooby-Doo and Supernatural crossover episode. Season 13, episode 16 of Supernatural is called Scooby-Natural, and it involves the characters from Supernatural being sucked into the animated world of Scooby-Doo for an episode. What? Supernatural was not a real show, and you can't convince me otherwise. Also, what happened with the evil Coast Guards? Their eyes didn't turn green, so were they even possessed? Maybe they were just evil. What about the college students that left after being possessed? Like they were like down the pier onto the boat. Like they left. That brings me to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like. If you got something to say, leave a comment. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. Big videos coming, babe. Big videos coming. Thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, and thanks again to you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you all soon. Peace out. Bye.